The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.nikkiClarkenetwork.com.
All right, welcome back. Sitting beside me now is the co-founder of Ikkuma Inc., the amazing Gary Leblanc is here on the show. Please welcome him.
Thanks, Nikki. It's great to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a long time coming. And I'm enjoying my Boost drink. It's quite delicious.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I am too.
And you had a former life as a big executive for a top-tier company in the food industry. And you had an epiphany one day and you left that and started the Ikkuma movement. Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine. So I've been working in corporate my whole life. I have an engineering and business background, and I worked for top-tier companies. And actually, it was probably about 7 years ago, a good friend of mine got diagnosed with lymphoma. And I was always a healthy guy, but when he got diagnosed, it's always been kind of a burden. I put on myself. I feel guilty for people who are close to me. I feel guilty when they're going through difficult times, and Brad was no different. And then I was just going to write a book, so I started researching, and then my business partner, Brian Coons, he actually...
He's here, by the way.
Yeah, he's in the back. He was actually meditating, and he had known of my project, and he said, you know what, with my background, with your background, why don't we get this book published and start a new company? And that's where Ikkuma was born. So that's kind of the whole journey. And unfortunately, my friend, he passed away 3 years after being diagnosed. So this is almost a homage to Brad, and it's great that it came from a very honest place.
Absolutely. Ikkuma what's the origin of that word and what does it mean?
Ikkuma, it's interesting. It means fire in Inuit. So the interesting thing about the Inuit culture and the language is they're very spiritual. They have a close connection with nature. And Ikkuma, Ikkuma sounds very Aboriginal. It could either be a Hawaiian surf village, it could be an Amazonian tribe, or it could be an Inuit word. And we love the word. We love what it means. Our logo consists of the 4 elements. So earth, air, wind, and fire, and each one of our products represents one of those elements. So it actually blended almost eerily well from the beginning. I'd like to say we had thought of that from the beginning, but really everything fell into place like it was kismet.
That's beautiful. Now you've got a book. Actually, I read the whole book cover to cover in a couple of days. It's such an easy read. The Evolution of Vitality. Mm-hmm. And I like how you're no nonsense. It's like tough love from Gary. He just tells it like it is, but it comes from a loving, genuine place. And there's some transformational tips that you have mentioned. Can we talk about some of the things that people can maybe start right away to change their lives? Yeah,
there's a few things. If I was going to talk to somebody, there's a few things I've done that are the top 10, but just touching on a few. A lot of times people, the hardest part is really making a decision. We have access to more information than ever before. Since the internet was invented and since Google's been around, everybody has access to pretty much everything out there. But we see obesity rates and diabetes rates skyrocketing. So with all that information out there, why aren't things changing? So one of the things that I feel really is a stumbling block for people is the simplicity. And the second would be the real inspiration or the impetus to change. Now, Brian's, motivation with joining me was almost something that gave me the inspiration to move forward with this. And, when I think of what inspired me to make this change at the beginning, it was Brad's difficulty. And the simplicity of it is one thing that actually is the driving force behind Ikkuma. So one of the things people have to really make a decision on is, do they really seriously want to make a change? And are they inspired enough, are they motivated enough to make a change? Because if you truly do, there's a lot of resources out there. So the first one is actually making a decision. And one of the interesting things we talked about the other day was just the decision of going into your kitchen, recognizing what isn't healthy in your kitchen, packing it up and getting it out of there. That's almost kind of the signal where you say to yourself, you know, I'm starting my journey. And, you know, that's already a sunk cost. People get stuck with the money. Well, that money's already been spent. So are you going to be better off eating, you know, the processed foods that you have in your kitchen, or are you better off making a change? So that's one of the major items I think people have to
because people bring up the argument that, oh, I can't afford organic foods because it's so pricey, but aren't you worth it?
Yeah, well, when we look back at, you know, we talk about the price of food. Back in 1930, we spent about 25% of our income on food. In present day, we spend about 9% of our income on food. So it's not that food's expensive, because organic food's only on average about 20 to 25% more on average than conventional food. So when you take 9%, increase that by 25%, it's still only 11% of our paycheck. We used to spend 25%. So it's what we prioritized as being important that's the problem. It's not necessarily the difference in spend. And I'm not, you know, I don't want to sound like I can speak for everybody's condition. There are some people, you know, who have more difficulty purchasing organic foods. But when you look at the average and the cost, it truly is a very affordable way to live. And when you looked at the nutrition in organic foods, a study just came out, the most comprehensive study, and it showed that organic foods had 40 to 60% more antioxidants, more nutrition than conventional. So theoretically, you're getting 40 to 60% more for 20 to 25% more cost. So I just don't think people are totally sensitized to that. So I don't think money's truly a barrier in the end if people prioritize.
The other thing that you brought up was throwing out your room deodorizer.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one, because that's another easy one. I bet everybody in here has Febreze, either in their car, either in their house. Well, not everyone. But this is it's an incredibly easy thing to do. You just take it and you throw it out and you never buy it again. These things, the EPA, so the Environmental Protection Agency, on their site actually recommend to be careful for your kids and pets, because it can cause skin irritation, eye irritation. There are phthalates in there. There are several chemicals that they don't have to divulge, because they're proprietary. They're basically proprietary blends. So it's almost this loophole where you really don't know what you're getting. So this is an easy one. And you know, the car I find is the worst. You walk into some cars and it just hits you like a wave. You know, that's obviously, you know, just intuitively, you know, those are chemicals, and it's an easy thing to change.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to just talk a little bit about Organic Boost. So this is really amazing. When I tried it, and the thing I noticed, so I was observing the reaction in my body, that I wasn't jittery at all. There wasn't any kind of, you know, I had the mental clarity, but without the jitters. So what's in it that makes it so special and not?
Yeah, we need a 2-hour talk show. I get pretty passionate when I talk about our products. To get to the bottom of it, think of Ikkuma Boost as the healthiest energy drink on the market. I hate the word energy drink because it's been stigmatized right now. It's more of a vitality drink. Everything in there is organic, all whole food. We have no artificial sweeteners in there. The caffeine, I won't get into the science of it, but since it's naturally occurring from yerba mate and guarana, you get the alkaloids that actually calm your body as well as stimulate your nervous system. So that's why you got the energy without the jitters. And then we top it off with some B vitamins. We have some beetroot and some Panax ginseng, which is a traditional Chinese medicine herb. And then we flavor it with organic stevia and organic cane. So it's a very natural tea-based raspberry citrus. I'm extremely proud of it. And we have 2 other SKUs coming up, Ikkuma Chill, which is an all-organic relaxation drink, and we have Ikkuma Brain, which is going to be an all-natural cognitive enhancer. So yeah, those are our babies on the drink side, and then we have our supplement side. Yeah.
And guess what? Everyone gets a sample tonight. You get your own can of Boost. So thank you very much. And I want to say thank you very much for helping me and being a coach for me as I go through this journey as the Miss Plus Universe pageant. Ikkuma is a wonderful sponsor, so thank you very much for all your information. So, all right. So, Gary, where can people find you?
Yeah, so it's www.ikkuma.com. The spelling gets a bit tricky, but you all have a drink, so there's no excuse. And on our website, you'll see our supplements, you'll see our drinks, the book, it's all there. So it's a pretty easy, and you can find the drink in Loblaws across Canada. And we're soon to be in Whole Foods and the Big Carrot. And so, yeah, so we'll be everywhere in 6 months. I won't even have to tell you.
Yeah, you got it here, the Nikki Clarke Show first. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks so much, Nikki.
All right, anytime. We'll be right back with some more good stuff.
The
Don't go
Nikki
anywhere.
Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.